God's a love that's divine, yours and it's mine like the sun. I found this quote a couple weeks ago, and I just think it's so great and unfortunate that it's true. Not really. But David Foster Wallace wrote, "The truth will set you free, but not until it's finished with you." Isn't that true, huh? Well, I found this story recently, and it's titled "The Dog Boy and the Dalai Lama." And the dog boy was affectionately called that because he was a young boy of 5 or 6, and he was raised with dogs. And this young boy couldn't talk. He could not stand up on 2 feet and walk. He walked on all 4s. He was nervous like a dog. And he couldn't eat with his hands. And so some care workers, therapists, and social workers took this young boy, and they were wondering, what can we do? How can we support this boy in having a loving, powerful life? And the Dalai Lama heard about this boy and said, I want to meet this boy. So they arranged a meeting, and the Dalai Lama was sitting in the middle in a chair in the center of the room, and they brought this young boy to him. And the young boy sat beside the Dalai Lama, and the Dalai Lama looked at him and smiled. You've seen that smile. And he put his hand on the boy's head and brushed his hair. Brushed his hair. And brushed his hair. And he gently touched his shoulders and rubbed his shoulders until, at long last, the young boy fell asleep at his feet. So how do we be a loving presence in the world? The Dalai Lama says to be kind. To be kind whenever possible. And he says it's always possible. I think that the story of this, you might say, wild dog boy is sort of a great illustration of how we can be in the world if we can be there in kindness regardless of what we see, regardless of what is going on, what we're feeling, the fear, the desire to run. If we can just totally remember the truth of who we are and be kind. Be kind to ourselves, even to that wild-like, dog-like person that we sometimes are. Ever feel that way? Ever feel that wildness? And wouldn't it be nice if we could just reach out and sort of touch ourselves and just remember the truth of who we are? Treat ourselves with kindness. Treat others with kindness. How else can we be a loving presence in the world? Well, I'll show you. A week ago, Reverend Gary and Owen and I were at the Unity People's Convention in San Antonio, Texas. And there were over 500 of us at this conference. This is a picture I took at one of our morning events. And it was so fabulous to be in this room of people like us whose mission and desire and passion it is to be the presence of love on this planet. And I have to tell you, this is one of the best conferences that I have been to in years because there is unity in unity, and we are committed as a movement to Can you tell I'm passionate to making a positive impact on the world? And the concepts I'm going to show you today are how we can do that. One of our guest speakers, our keynote speakers, was Father Gregory Boyle. He's the founder of Homeboy Industries. Homeboy Industries is a Los Angeles-based company formed with people who have been in gangs. And let me tell you about some of these people. In Homeboy Industries, well, what Homeboy Industries does is to support and encourage gang members to step out of their gangs, to find out the truth of who they are so that they can find jobs and live normal lives, enlightened lives. And Homeboy teaches them with job training how to do this. In any given month, 1,000 former gang members and recently incarcerated people come through their doors. 1,000 a month. 250 to 300 former gang members are in Homeboy's job training. 85% of the people who enter their doorways are either on probation or parole. There are 800 tattoo removals a month. There are 140 legal counseling sessions. There are 120 therapy sessions a month. Homeboy Bakery sells over 1,000 pies. They have their own bakery on before Thanksgiving. Homeboy Cafe serves over 2,000 people every week. Homeboy Bakery and Homegirl Bakery sell in 24 different farmers markets in Southern California. Their products are all over. All of those products are made by ex-gang members in Homeboy Industries. Phenomenal. And here's Father Boyle and some of his teammates. And you can't see it, but they're in front of one of their businesses. And I love their saying. Their saying says, "Nothing stops a bullet like a job." This is a conglomeration of different sayings that they put together. I like all of them, but this one's really fun. It says, 7 orphans. Can you picture this? Sitting in a kitchen waiting for a turkey. What more could be sacred? Seeing ourselves in kinship, away from judgment. The day will never come when I am as holy as the people that I serve. Wow. Homeboy Industries. Francis of Assisi wrote this, and you've heard it before, and it's seek first to understand. So if we want to be to transforming power in the world, how do we do that? With others, we seek first to understand them, a philosophy used by Homeboy Industries. I think so often we feel like if I'm going to be there to support somebody, I have to teach them the way. I have to show them the way. When I first discovered truth, there were some cliches that I used to say, and I'd like to share a few of them with you. You shouldn't be attached to your body. It's only a body. And these are things that I've said to people who were struggling with their life or with anger, with sadness, with hurt. Oh, it's all part of God's plan. Everything happens for a reason. Oh, God never gives you more than you can handle. Be strong. You'll get through this. God wants to make you stronger. That's why you have this in your life. This too shall pass. Oh, I know how you feel. All of these cliches that I have used, I realize now, are buffers that I inserted into those challenging situations so that I didn't have to embrace the person's pain. All of these things sort of say, what you're feeling is nothing. If we really want to be compassionate, if we really want to serve, if we really want to love, then just listen. I found myself saying one of these cliches to somebody who was dying, and this was a big wake-up call to me. And the person said, Blaine, be quiet. Can you just be with me? And it was like, wow. That's all people really want, is for us to be with them, to love them. We don't have to try and fix them or fill them with our cliches so that we can be comfortable. Just be present for them. Love them. Be present for them. This is what it means to be the presence of kindness. What else can we do? Is it easy so far? The next one is to stand in awe. Father Boyle said, here is what we seek, a compassion that can stand in awe at what the poor have to carry, rather than standing in judgment of how they carry it. Wow. You know, I used to teach first and second grade in East Oakland, California. And I stood in awe of those children and their parents so many times. Every child in my classroom knew somebody who was shot or killed or in prison. Most of the children in my class didn't have a father. Most of the children in my class, their parents didn't have 2 nickels to rub together. But every time it was a child's birthday, they would all show up with cake and ice cream and presents for the child whose birthday it was. And it gave me the opportunity to stand in awe of them. And how beautiful they were, and how lovely they handled the difficult situations in their lives. A Buddhist principle says, see with the eyes of love. We begin to change the world by first changing the way that we see the world. We change the world by the way we see the world. I was at the film festival, I think it was Thursday night, and got to talking with some folks, and they were talking about the situations that are happening on our planet and how horrible they were and how sad they were, and the difficulty that they were having with politicians and other countries and the way that things are going. And they were focused so much on the hurt and the pain and the negativity. And what if we didn't see it that way? What if we were able to behold love even in those who we think are operating out of lack? Wow. When we hold the vision, when we see others through the light of the Christ, see them as the Buddha, see them as our teachers, behold them in love, that's when there's a shift. That's when the world shifts and they too feel our energy. You know, whatever we push against is going to push against us. Our job is to love and to see with the eyes of love. Charles Fillmore said this: we can live in love, kindness, peace, and harmony. It is the law of spirit that we must be that which we would draw to us. If we would draw to us love, we must be love. Be loving and kind. If we would have peace and harmony in our environment, we must establish it within ourselves. I think that the world that we see and the issues that we see happening in our world is an outward expression of what's happening in here. And we can change that when we learn to love ourselves, really to love ourselves. Because until we love ourselves, it's impossible to unconditionally love others. What we are inside, we attract to us. When we become vehicles of love and kindness, the world will reflect that love and that kindness and that peace. Father Boyle says, there is no them and us. There is only us. Compassion isn't just about feeling the pain of others. It's about bringing them toward yourself. Dismantle the barriers that exclude. Wow. When we can start to see each other as ourselves and stop excluding people for the judgments that we see. I love this. Jesus was not a man for others. He was one with them. Think about that. He wasn't here to say, this is how you show love. This is what you need to do. He was exhibiting it. He was being it. He was in the trenches with the people. He didn't care who they were or what they believed or how they dressed. But he stood with them. He sat with them. He ate with them. He loved them. How do we seek together to obliterate the illusion that we are separate?
How do we seek together to obliterate the illusion that we are separate? That there is an us and a them? How do we bridge the gulf that exists so that there is no longer daylight that separates us? We have to be careful, I think, on something like this, because even in service, there's a distance, almost by definition. Service provider, service recipient. We want to bridge even that distance. At Homeboy Industries, I'm not the great healer, and that gang member over there is in need of my exquisite healing. The truth is, we all need healing. All of us. Our cry for help, it's the thing that sort of joins us. So service is a starting point, and everybody in this room is engaged in it in one way or another, but you don't want to get stuck there, because it's only a starting point. Service is the hallway that gets you to the ballroom. That's where you want to land. And the ballroom is the place of kinship, the place where there is no us and them, and everything has been bridged in this exquisite mutuality.
So service is the hallway that takes us to the ballroom. It's through service that we really learn to love each other and to love ourselves. I know, and it was the message of Unity Conference, that it's time that we start moving from me to we. Yeah? I know that in Unity, it's been my feeling for a while that we are so self-focused on my spiritual path. And we spend so much energy talking about me. It's time to stop. You know, it's time to start focusing on the we. Start focusing on our community, start focusing on our island, start focusing on our planet, and so that we go into the ballroom and be the expression of love, to be the Christ that Jesus demonstrated, to be the light, to be the love, to be the power, and to share that by seeing that in other people, because when we see it in others, they'll see it in themselves. And through our enlightenment, the world will become enlightened. We are a loving presence when we remember that nothing is foreign to us, and we embrace our oneness with the universe and all of life. When we can love the lonely, when we can be kind whenever possible, and it's always possible, when we can seek only to understand, when we can stand in awe of the poor in spirit, when we can see with the eyes of love, when we can see that there is only us, then we will truly be a loving presence in the world. I like this that psychologist Carl Jung said. He said, "At times, I feel as if I am spread out over the landscape and inside things, and am myself living in every progression of the seasons." Living in everything. Imagine what that feels like, to recognize our oneness so much that you are part of everything. Rumi wrote this. It's titled, "Say I Am You." I am dust particles in the sunlight. I am the round sun. To the bits of dust I say, stay. To the sun, keep moving. I am morning mist and the breathing of evening. I am wind in the top of the grove and surf on the cliff. Mast, rudder, helmsman, and keel. I am also the coral reef on which they founder. I am a tree with a trained parrot in his branches. Silence, thought, voice. The musical air coming through a flute, a spark on a stone, a flickering in metal, both candle and the moth crazy around it, rose and the nightingale lost in the fragrance. I am all orders of being, the circling galaxy, the evolutionary intelligence, the lift, and the falling away. What is and what isn't? You know Rumi. You know the one in all. You say that I am. Say, I am you. I am one with God and all creation. Let's say that together. I am one with God and all creation.
Where I live, there are